Got a Crit City video here. KRG Thursday night crit. We're doing this. Shift team is doing this instead of the WTRL time trial. It's been tough to get like 6 or 8 guys together, so figured we'd jump into a crit and see what we can do as a team. Really play some team tactics. So we went into today with a pretty solid plan. And I kind of cut to us talking about it in the Discord, but we do have a Discord channel going where we're talking the whole time, which helps a lot. It helps so much. I mean, it's the equivalent of having a DS in your ear telling you what to do in like a world tour race. So that's one interesting thing from tonight. The other interesting thing is there is a new power-up, and I can't find anything about it on the internet. Yeah, I'm telling everybody we don't need to chase any of these early flyers. Anybody going solo from this distance, they can have it because we're going to chase them down. Our plan is to go hard a couple different times as a group, see if we can split it down. Yeah, anybody who can solo away from us with our planned attacks, group surges, whatever we're going to do, and they can stay away solo. Probably not anyone we need to be chasing anyway. So really, we're going to let all the individual riders kind of duke it out basically for this first half of the race. Just leaving this start in to show how hard this start is, how hard these starts always are. We're pretty much over threshold for that first full lap. I know I don't look like I'm going hard, but trust me, I am. I will say after doing the Driveway Series race last week with several World Tour pros, this does feel a little bit like playing Tony Hawk with the moon code on, or like having a cheat code, having a power up. Speaking of power ups, getting back to that power up, so. There was an update launched right before this race, and didn't see anything of note in there. Some updates to the boost mode. But in this race, I noticed, and I pointed it out, and everybody else was seeing it, a new power-up. It's purple circle with a steamroller in it. And I've been doing some Googling, I've been doing some Redditing, and nobody seems to know what this thing is. So, yeah, speaking of gamification, we're talking about CV Arcade here. I don't know, I kind of want to give it a whirl. Seems like it could be a cool platform. I know it has wind, the drafting's a little bit more robust, there's steering and turning. Seems interesting. So we got a good move here. I'm trying to leave in all the attacks. I kind of edited this one down to the key points, but I left in the all the crucial moments, and this is the first kind of big attack that really strings it out. You can see I'm 9th, and there's a gap going out behind me. We're single file. So this is exactly what we want as a team. We want the other individual riders, the guys without a team, to start going after each other, and when this happens, we're gonna get in this single file line and just hang in there and make other people shut the gaps down, basically. So I just asked if we're all in the top 10. I'm just making sure everybody's accounted for, everybody realizes what's going on, because it is easy if you're trying to rest and you're kind of hanging out at the back. It's easy to not realize that the gap is going out ahead of you, maybe depending on what camera angle you're using, or depending if you're watching that top right corner radar. So there it is. I should have mentioned it before. I'm going to mention it here in a second, but there was a glimpse of the truck, the steamroller power up there, purple steamroller. Here it is again. So watch the circle, steamroller, steamroller, steamroller. No idea what that is. No mention of it anywhere. GP Llama doesn't have anything. Reddit doesn't have anything. So I actually did Google it during the race with the phone you can see on my bars. Got my phone on my bars, got a Cyclops like sweat towel thing, and I've also got a tablet with the companion app. So I used my phone to Google it and couldn't find anything during the race. Didn't want to pay too much attention once the action really got going. Speaking of the action, looks like we got another flyer here. I wanted to leave all these in. I pretty much cut out anything where the group is rolling like a steady 250 watts or something and nobody's really going for it. I wanted to leave in all of these crucial moments and show sort of how you ride responsively without wasting energy. So just trying to make sure I'm on the right side of any splits that are happening. But other than that, I'm not putting any surges down. I'm just sort of slowly bringing the power up and back down. Minimum I got to do to stay in the group. I keep forgetting to use my feather for this first half of the race, so I didn't get another glimpse at the power up there. But you can see we lost a couple guys here. Group's whittling down already, and we haven't even done our big move yet. So here comes a textbook move, top of the climb. This is the classic way to run this race. You can go on the climb or you can go at the top of the climb, but the effect is really the same. Top of the climb, this guy really goes for it, and I'm a little bit caught out of position, but I'm going to try to not panic here. I'm watching my watts per kilo over there, making sure that it's coming back together. But this guy's got a pretty good gap solo for a rider who's by himself. Kudos to him, but yeah, our whole shift team is just going to sit in the middle of this group as long as somebody else is willing to chase it. Maybe if it really got shut down, we might think about doing a little bit more work, but we are just going to hang out here. Over those rollers, I've gotten a lot better at learning to punch on the uphill and kind of coast on the downhill and account for that little lag that exists on Zwift or whatever. You can see people are kind of going to the front and sprinting, hitting the wind, standing up, and then realizing how much harder it is in the wind and coming back. There's that truck power up again. And it looks like this guy's coming back. So he's going back, and he's going all the way through the group, which is something that happens on Zwift. If you don't save something to surge again, the group can come right over the top of you. So this next bit I'm leaving in because this is basically me calling my shot, calling the plan out to everybody.
This is what the group looks like at the end, but I was thinking if we're still all there, pretty small, save the breath, little long bomb with like 2 to go. And then briefly, if you're feeling good on that last one, I'll go hard up the climb and give you what I got to the finish. Yeah, maybe we'll start ramping up before the climb, through the climb, try to hold it pretty hard until somewhere through here.
So we're just kind of planning the attack here.
I'm thinking I'll probably try and do like 150. I'm gonna let this guy go.
Trying to let this guy go, but he's not going hard enough. Even with me backing way off my power, he's still coming off, still coming back. I tried to let people roll off the front like that today, a lot of times people see that they have a gap, and then that'll sort of coax them into doing a bigger effort than maybe they should, just to wear them down. And take a look at the power-ups here. You can see that purple steamroller right there. Coming through again. I still, no idea. No idea what's going on with that. So here we are setting up Big Attack 1. I got no power up, but this is where we're going to go as a group, try and really split it and see what we can do. This is a tactic that really only works in Zwift. It's something about the way that people can't really choose what wheel they're on and just how new Zwift is, I think. I think there's so we're kind of calling our shot right there. I think there's something with how new it is where the tactics are not really worked out yet. And something like this works. If 4 people on the same team went in a normal race, it would be really hard to catch somebody out. But I saw Saris the Pros Closet do this in the virtual tour of the Gila. So we're going to try to keep it strong, keep rolling pretty hard all the way to the start-finish line. You can see on that graph on the top right hand, you can kind of take stock of how lined out everyone is. And there are people coming back to us, but I'm pretty confident that if we keep going hard, we're going to catch some people out. Some people aren't going to be sure what's going on, and they're just going to think, oh, I can't hold this pace, and they're going to drop off. So for us, we kind of know where our point is that we can sit back in. And this guy's super motivated. So once these 2 guys kind of get together, we're going to just get up to them, let them keep the pull going hard. Once again, steamroller. Still no idea what that is. Taking stock, camera view 6. Looks like we split it. I think I go to the back here, kind of drift back now that I know that we've let up. We're talking in the chat and everybody's saying, okay, I'm settling in now. And I'm pretty confident no one else is going to put the hammer down. So I predicted we'd probably split it down to 8. Pretty much nailed it, it looks like. I floated to the back. Everybody behind is by themselves. So we do have one guy who's trying to come back here. You can see him, the single orange dot on the radar. And as we're talking about it, Murphy has realized that guy's on Z power, which means that he's not on a real power meter. So I said we should keep it hard just to make sure that guy doesn't get on. Because Z-Power people have a tendency to just screw up races. Here's the steamroller on the right. Look at that guy with the steamroller. No idea what that power-up is doing, but he's using it. I don't know. No clue. Maybe he's making it where the Z-Power guy can't get back on. So the thing with Z-Power is that it's basically just using your speed sensor and estimating what your power should be. So it's really easy for that to be wrong if you don't put your tire pressure to the exact same level. You don't crank if you're using a wheel-on trainer, you don't crank your resistance to the exact same level. There's all kinds of ways that can be messed up. And it's really easy for someone on Z-Power to be cheating without knowing it. So I'm gonna make an effort to make sure we don't get one of those guys in the group. So I'm feeling pretty good in this lull. I'm gonna add my own dumb group ride banter to the chat right here, telling everybody to hold your line. One of the favorite catchphrases of ornery masters racers everywhere. But yeah, Z-Power guys, have a tendency to get in these groups, and sometimes they're just like motor pacing the group, and it kind of neutralizes any attacks if they're reading 40, 50 watts over what they're actually doing. It's kind of like riding behind a motorcycle, and it sucks the whole group along in the draft at a speed where you can't really attack over the top, and it just makes the race no fun. It's a bummer. So I wanted to make sure that guy's not coming back, and he's not coming back. So mission accomplished there. Gonna skip ahead a little bit. So I do have an ice sock on my back, pouring a little water on that.
Okay.
And this looks like lap 16. So this is the other big surge we're going to do as a group. This one doesn't break it down as much, but it is just, I think this was the one where we broke a lot of spirits. We decided to go one turn earlier here to make sure, really just everyone was ramping up the power into the climb every time anyway. So going a little early allowed us to catch people out, make them start working at a time that they weren't really prepared to mentally. I'm using my drafting boost here. I really probably should have held on to it for another couple seconds. But you can see on the radar here, there's a little group off the back. And even if they get back to us, just making them work like this is going to be beneficial for us in the long run. Same thing with the guy in the cryogen kit going over the top. He's not going to stick that by himself, and we're going to make sure there's another guy with him, so I'm not going to let them get away together. But the more little moves he makes like that, the more times he thinks this is the crucial moment where I'm going to get away and he burns a match, the better it is for us. So I'm trying to just kind of keep this group rolling and make sure that I'm not just giving it away. I do a big surge here to make sure I stay in, get back on. As the group rolls over the top of you, if you don't put in an effort to match your speed to theirs, you can get rolled like that guy did earlier in the race and end up out the back real quick. So yeah, we've split the group down now. We've put a lot of hard work in. So I'm saying now we sort of switch from Zwift specific tactics to more sort of like normal bike racing tactics. We sort of worn everyone down to a point where it's going to feel a little bit more like real life, and nobody's jumping at that idea. So I'm going to go ahead and throw one out there. I think I got it in me, so I'm going to light it up on the climb this time, and it's really just kind of a tester to see if I go and everybody chases immediately. Maybe we haven't broken it down as far as we need to. Maybe we need to do a couple more of those group surges to wear everybody down. But if I go and nobody really chases, then we know we got a pretty soft group, and it's a good time for someone like Brad to go, somebody who can maybe hold it to the line, because the chase is unmotivated and unorganized. So I snapped. Normally 550, 600 is enough to get away on that thing, even in A groups. So that's where like prior knowledge comes into play. And I flipped the camera around to 6 here because there's nothing up the road to watch, so it's a lot more beneficial to watch behind me here than in front of me. There's nothing going on in front of me. So I'm really not trying to stick this for the last 6 laps or whatever by myself, but I am just trying to gauge the group and gauge how hard they want to go. And the fact that I was able to get pretty clean separation there it's a good sign that we've really worn them down, and the plan is working. The plan at this point, as I sort of called the shot earlier, is to send Brad up the road late in the race. And in the Discord right now, I think we're sort of debating what next. And Lawrence Monks has said he's good to go. So we're going to send him right here. This is lap 17, one after the one where I took my flyer. Oh no, this is actually not Lawrence. This is the cryogen guy goes again. So again, this guy goes. We're just gonna make sure, keep him on a tight rope, tight leash, but maybe let him tire himself out a little bit. We're not gonna jump right on it immediately. We're gonna kind of slowly grind back up to him. I mean, kudos to this guy though, being a solo rider. He was really animating the race, really attacking, and I am proud of the fact that we all, put the team name and our names on here and wore the same jersey, just so it's not like we're a sneaky secret alliance going on. Everyone can kind of see that we're a team and knows what's up with us. Brought him back right here, sort of reshuffling, reforming the race, and this is where we're discussing Lawrence's attack. I thought 17 was probably too soon. So I was wrong on that last one. You can get another look at that steamroller power up here. And again, I start getting no power-ups toward the end of this race, which I don't know. I guess I didn't really need them, but it's always rough when you get a million in the beginning of the race when you don't need anything, and then as it heats up, you start getting nothing. So I want to say Lawrence decided he wanted to go after the top of this climb, so after the turn, and he lights it up at this next turn, I believe, and yep, here he goes. You can see him out of the saddle right there with the red hair. And really good snap from him. Red numbers. Looks like 10 watts a kilo. So me and Murphy get on the front and, get on the front doing 185. Really in that moment, that's the best thing we can do is give him the gap that he needs to hold all the way to the end. So I think the fact that the group didn't string out here single file,
when he comes back, Brad, you go.
That's purely down to how much work we've done, those surges we did, all the attacks that cryogen guy has done. Nobody's really motivated to chase here, so this is sort of perfect attack, perfect timing, and we really didn't expect Lawrence to go all the way. Maybe he did, but yeah, I'm telling him right now, this is a hero move. It's going out. It just keeps going out. And we still got 2 full laps to go.
Stay away a little longer. Brad's got like 2 laps, 1.5 laps. Right when you come back, he goes. Guarantee nobody's chasing.
Yep. So the plan has been changed a little bit. Rather than Brad going at a set point, we're going to send him up the road right when Lawrence gets within striking distance. And I'm calling my shot right there. Once he's gone, it's not coming back.
Maybe with like 1 to go, but let's keep forcing everybody else's hand.
I can tell either we've broken everybody's spirit or everyone who made this group is an individual rider who's just resigned themselves to, I'm waiting for the field sprint and I don't care what happens otherwise. So either way, we've kind of got them on the ropes here. So the cryogen guy has been hitting it hard on the climb. And I want to make sure he doesn't think he's going to bridge solo. This is classic real bike racing tactics. When you have a teammate up the road, if you can just latch on to anything that tries to go across and not do any work, just latch on to it, that person's not going to want to pull more teammates up there for free. So we're kind of playing that catch and kill at this point. Murphy and I, and here comes Murphy, and he's going to weld it together.
Way to weld it back together, Murphy.
So that's a perfect example of welding, where you just kind of jump into the gap and then slow up. And you can tell Cryogen guy, blue kit, right in front of me here, he's pulled the plug. He put in a valiant effort there, but he is not going to just pull the whole group all the way up there. Rightfully so, but that was a good move for us to be vigilant there and be on top of that. I think this is lap traffic we're coming up on. This is not Lawrence. Yeah, this is definitely lap traffic. So there's a moment there where I was like, oh, Brad might need to go right now. That would be a little early, though.
5 seconds.
Lawrence has still got 5 seconds, and at this point I'm thinking,
Oh, yeah.
I think Lawrence maybe even said it. They're probably going to try to go across to him on the climb, so I'm reevaluating.
Back, just snap it in that one.
Maybe we need Brad to go before the climb, because again, you don't want to be trying to accelerate and get away at the exact point everyone else is accelerating. You're just not going to get anywhere, or it's going to be a lot harder.
Go on over the top
Yep.
before they're ready.
So I'm telling Brad, go on over the top before they're ready, and he's like, right now? He's like, yep. Go ahead and light it up.
Yeah. Catch them out.
And so here he goes. Arrow power up.
Later.
Boom. Later. We got me and Murphy on the front again, and I think this Cryogen guy might try to go, so I'm just trying to kind of catch him in the sticky draft a little bit. Make sure that Brad gets away clean, and then also make sure the Cryogen guy doesn't get over the top here with any kind of daylight. Again, he's not going to drag me up there, but if he thinks he's away clean, he might go for it.
All right, Murphy, let's slow it up.
So me and Murphy are really playing enforcer here. Anyone who wants to snap, we're going to immediately sit on the wheel. Hopefully once they see us sitting on the wheel, they're going to sit up, but if they don't, then we're just getting a free ride up to the breakaway. So here we go. These guys are going. We're going to sit on the wheel. Yeah, if they give us a free ride, then maybe one of us attacks right when we get to them,
You guys are going out.
and we'll have had an armchair ride up there. Be ready to hold it all the way. Coming into the final lap here, realizing how unorganized these guys are, trying to give Lawrence and Brad a little bit of encouragement.
Yeah, Murphy, let's get right on this guy. Cryogen. The guy in the black kit.
Murphy and I are just kind of analyzing who's a threat here. I think everybody else is really hanging on by a thread.
Shut it down.
Those two are the only ones we really, really got to watch. And both of them, they don't seem willing to do it on their own, thankfully. So we've kind of got an easy job here.
Last lap, 7 seconds. We got it.
So I'm realizing this is happening. They're going to go 1-2, and then it's up to me and Murphy to win this field sprint, and we have swept the podium, which pretty awesome. You can't really hope for anything better than that. And Cryogen guys kind of,
These two want it. Can't do it by themselves.
yeah, they want it, but they can't do it by themselves. He keeps going to the front and trying to keep the group rolling hard, but me and Murphy setting a false tempo.
All right, Murphy, let's only go as hard as they want to go.
Yeah, so we're not going to lead up the climb. I'm just going to, whoever wants it the most, I'm just going to stick right with them.
Hell yeah, y'all are away. Y'all are clean. 11 seconds. Keep it up, keep it up.
As long as they stay on the power, they're away. So I'm starting to, that's kind of the last time I'm going to pay attention to them. And from here forward, I'm just thinking field sprint. And my original plan was that I would go hard here and split it for Murphy. But since we're trying not to bring them back, we're trying to let them stay away. That sort of changed the calculus.
Good guy. Cover that.
Black kit, other guy, other than the Cryogen guy. This was who I was worried about. So had my eye on him, immediately stuck the wheel, and he shuts it down. He was trying to get away clean and get a gap, and since he couldn't, he just chilled out. And Here comes Murphy with some speed. So I just tell Murphy to hit it because you don't want to let that momentum die down and then go again. I noticed that we're within the last 1,000 feet. I hit it, pop the arrow, power up. And Murphy may have gone a little early. I think he says here that he's fading. And I came right around him in the slipstream for third. 1, 2, 3. New power up. And this is my first video in HD also. So let's figure out what that power up is in the comments or whatever. I don't know.
Very nice.
Awesome race. Feels really good to have a plan, execute the plan. Yeah.
I'm gonna go throw up.
Yeah, gonna go throw up. That was a tough sprint. I haven't looked at the numbers yet, but I think that was probably 12, 13 watts a kilo for me last 15 seconds. So I gotta shut it down and go hang out, edit this video and get it up. Like and subscribe to the channel later.